promises by the federal government by passing the omnibus legislation. Shelley Young is from the Eskazoni First Nation in Cape Breton and is an organizer for the East Coast Idle No More group. Shelley, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Tell us, what is Idle No More all about?
Idle No More was started out west. Basically, a few women got together, First Nations and non-First Nations, and they said enough was enough. They felt that the government, they weren't being heard, First Nations weren't being heard, and that we had to start speaking out for our rights. And also, because the environment was being affected, our waterways were being affected, we figured we have to let Canada know. So Idle No More pretty much started out there, and it spread like wildfire on social media. And we found out about it down here, and we said, oh my God, we have to let Nova Scotia know what's going on.
You touched on social media. How big of a factor has social media played in Idle No More? Huge, because it wasn't being aired. Nothing. We thought we heard that there was a media blockout, and nothing was going out there. So it was YouTube. It was on all over YouTube. It was all over Facebook, Twitter. Eventually, it spread right across. Globally, we're hearing that it's in London that they were protesting out there. So it's been a lot of help. Social media. It's basically how we're reaching out now to the Canadian public. You yourself are a young person. When I was in Fredericton, I checked out an Idle No More protest as well. There's a lot of young people involved. When you see that, how does it make you feel?
I'm proud. I feel it's the youth right now that are driving it, and everybody's kind of jumping on. I think it's the young people, not just First Nations, non-First Nations, who are fed up with how the government's going right now, with how it's running. So they're starting to get together, they're starting to speak out, and they're peaceful about it too. There's a few people that are angry about what's going on because our rights are affected. But I think mostly we try to be peaceful. We try to make a positive message, and we just really want Canadians to be informed of this bill. And it's not, the Idle No More is not just about the bill. It's about change. We're trying to inspire change, and we're trying to create a better relationship with the government.
Talking about change, Shelley, what are some of the issues with this legislation?
Environment, waterways. There's a lot of waterways that won't be protected. In Nova Scotia, for example, we'll only have 3 lakes protected, and that's a big concern, I was thinking of Lake Annesley. This is where my family goes to swim. That's somewhere that will not be protected anymore. They'll be able to drill through it, and that's what concerns us. Like, you probably heard of the fracking. We had to stand up for the fracking in Cape Breton, and that's where we feel like we're the protectors of the land. That's what we've always been, and this is why we're speaking out, and this is why we're trying to inform people. It really matters to us a lot about the environment and just what the government is doing to it to make more money.
There was a flash mob that went on today in Dartmouth as well. How much more are we going to see of this?
I think you're going to see a lot more. I think this is just a start. Basically, we're Idle No More, meaning that we can only move forward from here. We want to create better relationships. We want to get it out there, the message. Basically, we're tired of the government's treatment. Right now, I just wanted to touch on the residential school. People hadn't learned about that. I used to work at Dalhousie University, and I had to meet with doctors, graduating doctors, and they had never heard of the residential school. This is something that's huge in our history. 150,000 children went to the residential school, and nobody knew about it. People think it's history, ancient history. The last one closed in 1996, and people today are still affected. This is how the government has been treating our people, and it's unfair. They took our language away, or they tried to, and there was a lot of abuse in there, and it's because they didn't know how to deal with First Nations. So I think it's time that the government stops telling us how they should treat us, or how they should do it. I think it's us. We need to stand up and say how we should be governed instead of them telling us.
When it comes to Indigenous rights, some people will say that it is time for change, and that Indigenous people should be treated equally to all Canadians. What's your response to that?
I think when they say that, I think equality means having equal opportunity. We need equal opportunity, and this is our driving force here, is that most Canadians don't know that First Nations live below poverty level. They have less funding for school, less health funding. Since 2008, since Harper made that residential school apology,
He said that there was going to be a relationship, better relationship, and a mutual relationship. Since then, since 2008, there's been health cuts, education cuts, environmental assessment impacts. You know, there's just so much that we didn't expect. We hoped for change. We hoped for a good relationship, and since then it's just gotten worse.
And Shelley, when is the next Idle No More?
The next Idle No More, we're going to plan it for January. We're going to plan something for January, but for now, we have momentum. We're not going to stop. Everybody is informed. Everybody cares, and you know, we just have to keep pushing until Harper hears us.
Thank you very much, Shelley, for your time.
Thank you.
Shelley Young is with the East Coast Idle No More group. Well, stay with us. There's more coming up after this.